Okay, so if we haven't met, I'm Jennifer Elliott, and this is VinYin or Vinyasa in Yin. So the first half is Vinyasa leading towards headstand. You may or may not do it. And the second half is Yin, sort of winding us down. So let's get started. If you have 2 blocks, get started in a 2 block heart opener. If you don't have blocks, you can start flat on your back with your arms in cactus. So get yourself set up, whatever works for you. And so you're either in this 2 block heart opener, which is my favorite. If you know me by now, this is one of my favorite openers, just because it really starts to help educate moving sort of the shoulder blades towards the chest. Most of us, even if we've got good posture during the day, we tend to round the shoulders forward, which limits our breathing, it limits the space for the heart. Especially if we want a successful headstand, we really need to move out of sort of the rounding of the chest and more of the expansion, the back body moving into the front body. So find your opening pose, whether it's this one or you're flat on your back. You can bend your knees to give a little bit more TLC to the lower back. Palms are rotating up. Let the eyes close. Take a few moments here. Soften the forehead. Let the eyes melt into the sockets. The jaw unhinges. And essentially, we're sort of working towards our crown chakra, Sahasrara. This is sort of a universal identity, how we fit into a larger whole. And so we have one small part, but as we all do our small parts, it creates one large effect. And so everything you do on your mat and off, it starts to create this ripple effect to those around you. And so in this moment, let's start to connect with our neighbors, whether they're next to you or they're more virtual. And feel how we are connected and we're sort of affecting one another. And just start to cultivate your ujjayi breathing. If you're practicing with someone next to you, you can start to hear their breath and maybe harmonize. And if you're not able to hear anyone's breath, you're practicing on your own, just feel this collective vibe that we have as whole, all of us together, joining in this collective experience. And take just a couple more breaths here, just sort of setting the foundation for our practice. And begin to blink the eyes open. Send the arms overhead. Do what you'd like. I'm going to grab my elbows today. You might interlace hands. I always like a yawn. Just tells your nervous system to relax. And then whatever you're doing, switch it up. So reach for the opposite elbows or interlace hands goofy. Just something that is on side 2. Release from wherever you are. If you're on props like I am, make your way off and onto your back. If you're already on your back, you can stay there. Pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. Curl your forehead to your knees. Lower your head down, and then we're going to cross right knee over left. So knee over knee, maybe double cross foot under calf. Think eagle legs. Don't worry about the double cross if that's not for you. Interlace your hands under your head. Pick up your shoulders, take an inhale. Exhale, curl the heart and the knees together. Inhale, slowly relax and gently tap the toes down. Exhale, move slow. Curl the hips up without momentum. Inhale, relax. So just continue this on your own. I'm not really concerned about a sit-up. It's more about linking breath and movement. And starting to get the lower abdominals engaged. So go as slow as you can at the end of tapping those toes. Press the staler out as you curl in. We'll do 5 more here. now when you finish the last one, you can just set your head down, set your bottom foot down, keep your right knee crossed on top. Pick up your hips, shimmy them right, and then let the knees drop to the left. We want to slide the knees just a little higher to the left arm. You might feel a little cracker pop, as I just did in the back, which is fine as long as it doesn't feel uncomfortable. If it does, just take more of a traditional twist. And then move slow to center. Unwind the legs and then cross left leg over right, knee over knee, maybe double cross foot under calf, that's up to you. Hands under your head, lift your shoulders, inhale. Exhale, curl heart and knees. Inhale, lower, relax. Exhale, curl it in. And relax. Continue on your own, move slow. Five more. All right. Hopefully you have discovered your lower abdominals now. So keep your knees together, but that bottom foot can rest on the floor. Pick up your hips, shimmy them left, drop your knees gently to the right. Take your time. You may need to change and do a different version of the twist. And then gradually unwind, come to center. Hands under the knees, rock up, or however you'd like to come to seated. Okay, so cross comfortably at your ankles. You can grab a strap if you want, but I'm just gonna sort of do this quickly without. So take your left hand up, turn your palm behind you to help wrap that outer arm in. And then just place the hand on the shoulder. Guide that elbow in, sit tall, pull the front ribs in. If you wanna use a strap, great. Otherwise, we're just gonna take that other hand out, thumb down and slide it behind the back. And see if you can reach for that top hand or hold a piece of your shirt or that strap. Now, this is a great place to notice, are we rounding in the upper back? Can you lift the chest, lift the head, chin level to the floor? And then once you've got that lift, pull the front ribs into the body. We'll take just another breath here. All right. Take the top hand to the ceiling, turn that direction, place the hand on the floor behind you, and take the right hand and cross it over. Just sit up tall for a moment, lengthen, inhale, exhale, and twist. Just a couple of breaths, nothing intense. Keep your hand on the knee, turn back towards me, reach the left arm high, turn the palm to the center again, and then just tip over to the right. So we're getting a nice side body stretch from that left hip through the fingertips. Keep your sit bone on the ground so that you're not leaning over, you're not lifted at all. You can look up or down. Find center, release, shift back, switch the cross of the ankles. Right arm or second side lifts, turn the palm behind you, physically wrap that outer arm in so tricep spins forward. Place the hand on the shoulder blade, reach it back. As you sit tall, let those front ribs absorb in. So back ribs sort of move forward, but front ribs have to counter that and find that balance. Right hand underneath. Whew, this is my tight shoulder, so if you're like me, one side is not as successful as the other. I'm getting there today. So roll the shoulder head back, hug that right elbow in, chin level to the floor. Really reach up through the crown of your head without lifting your gaze. Keep your chin level to the floor, just lift up like you're trying to balance some books on your head. All right, take your right arm high. You can turn to the right, place that hand behind you, cross the left hand over onto that right knee. Sit tall, inhale. Exhale, navel in, just gently twist. Nothing too intense, just turning a bit. Keep the hand on the knee. Turn the torso back towards me or the front of your mat, wherever you're at. Right arm reaches high, rotate the palm in again, and then tip over to the side. Keep the hip heavy. You can look just straight forward. If you look up under the armpit or down, press your chin closest to that nearest shoulder. And then slowly return and release. Okay? Hands and knees. You can start to move into cat-cow, if you know that. Blocks at the front of your mat. I might flip here. So I usually have my blocks available just in case I want them. Find yourself in a nice table pose and then begin to move through your cat-cow. So inhale, the chest pulls forward, lift the navel in. And don't lift your head too high, chin a little bit down. Exhale, round. Press into the palms, into the shins. Inhale, heart lifts, reach the tailbone back. Exhale and round. All right, one more. And then as you round, press all the way back. Child's pose. Walk the hands out in front of you, spread wide through the fingers. Have a little grip at the end of your pads of your fingers. You're getting a little bit of a lift in the arch of the hand. Come up, hands and knees, lift the heart. Tuck the toes, lift up and back. Downward facing dog. And I like to start down dog, this first one at least, with really bent knees. So we just work on pressing into the inner hands, wrapping the triceps, the outer arms back, and then pedaling out the feet. And you can drop both heels to the floor. They don't have to make it, just wherever you're at is fine. Shift forward into plank. You can always be on your knees. Look at the ground. See if you can lift up your hips slightly, direct your tailbone back, lift your belly in. And then whether you're in plank or on your knees, tip forward and lower slowly to the floor. Elbows hug the body the whole way down. When you arrive on your belly, reach back through the toes. Press to the feet till the shins lift. Inhale, lift your heart into a low cobra. Try not to lift your gaze too much. And release. Inhale, lift the heart, low cobra. Slide onto your forearms for Sphinx. So have your elbows right under your shoulders. Drag the arm bones back isometrically as you pull your breastbone through. You can slightly look down. Press into the feet till the shins lift. Draw the navel in. Maybe feel the belly leave the floor. Couple of breaths. Should really feel back bends in the legs. If you're getting real lazy here in the legs, the low back feels it. If you push into the feet, make those legs real active, you feel the legs getting strong. So keep the legs strong. Lower the chest down. Hands come back. Lift your heart. Find Cobra, where at any time you can straighten the arms, push into the feet, and find up dog. But this is always an option. Down dog. However you get there, take a few breaths when you arrive. Raise your right leg up behind you. I always like to look back, see that the toes are pointing straight down. That way I know my leg is nice and neutral. Take an inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Pull the knee up high to the chest. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to the left arm. Pause. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to nose. Step the foot next to the right thumb tip. Left hand is going to stay on the floor. Right arm reaches to the sky. See if you can lift up the back leg just a little bit. Turn the right palm towards the front of your mat and reach it over. So rotate so that that tricep spins down, thumb spins up. Same as everything. You can look up or down. What was making sense for you? Take another breath. And then look down if you weren't. Release the hand and drop the back knee down. Come on up, Anjaneyasana. So back knee is down, pat it if you need. You can always use your mat. Lift your frontal hip bones. And then just cross right elbow under left. Nice eagle arms. Take a couple of breaths here. Lift your breastbone. Release the inner shoulders. Couple of breaths. Find your balance. You can really squeeze your inner thighs towards the center line. Inhale, lift your heart and fingertips. Exhale, release, hands down to floor or props. Hinge back, bring the front toes up. Drive your chest forward, half forward splits, Ardha Hanumanasana. So this is a good example of what we don't want our back to do when we're in headstand. Is your back rounding like you're in cat tilt? Can you keep the front knee soft and pull the breastbone forward like you're more in that cow? So move the back body, move the back body into the front body. All right, shift forward. Hands on the ground, step to plank. Top of your push-up or beyond your knees. Tip forward slightly, lower halfway, chaturanga. If this is okay for you, let's be here 3 breaths. 1, 2, and 3. Inhale, lift the heart, Cobra, or up dog. Sphinx is also always an option. Your head is last to lift. Downward facing dog. The left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to the right arm. And back. Knee to nose. Step the foot up next to the left thumb tip. Right hand down, left arm reaches, lift. Lift the back leg just a little bit. Turn the top palm to the front of the mat. Reach it over and try to rotate that top thumb up so you're spinning the tricep in. Couple of breaths here. Look down, release, back knee down, arms rise, Anjaneyasana. If you have any knee sensitivities and this really isn't for you, you could do this like a high lunge, crescent, Alanasana. Whenever you're ready from either version, cross left elbow under right or your second side. Squeeze those inner thighs together. That's going to give you that stability you need. Let's take a few breaths here. Inhale, lift the heart and fingertips. Exhale, curl as you release, hands down, hinge back, Ardha Hanumanasana. Hold the chest forward, find your breath. So I used to move a lot faster in my flow, and some of it is getting older, but most of it is, I just realized now that we want to match our movements with our breath. So if you're moving really fast in your flow, it might look really nice, it might be really fun, but we're not really breathing. And it's that breath that becomes the meditation. So slow the breath down to slow the movement down. Let's step to plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower, halfway or to the ground, your choice. Inhale, your back bend of choice. Exhale, down dog. All right, let's take a couple of breaths here. And for a moment, look at your belly button. Now this is extreme. We don't want to have this much of a stretch, but it's nice to sort of compare. So look at the belly button and then look between the feet. Just notice how that changes. And now look at some space sort of halfway between your hands and your feet, where your eyes just sort of naturally gaze, the neck is long. And come high to your toes, bend your knees, gaze up, step or hop, top of the mat. Take an inhale, come up halfway, hands on floor or shins, look at the ground. Exhale, fold. Inhale, the arms rise, reach to the sky, navel in and up, keep your gaze down slightly, and exhale, hands to heart. Okay, nice job. We're moving into Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salute A. So stand at the top of your mat, big toes touch, little space between your heels. Arms are by your sides, inner thighs back, pubic bone lifts. Look straight ahead. Take an inhale, arms rise, navel in, maybe glance up slightly. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, look at the ground. Exhale, step to plank or jump to chaturanga, yogi's choice. Move through your vinyasa on your own. 5 breaths, down dog. Another way to think about sort of where the gaze is think of where the soft spot is on the skull. And could you reach that to that space between the hands, between the thumbs? High to your toes, bend your knees, step or hop, top of the mat. Inhale up halfway, exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach the arms to the sky, navel in and up, and exhale, hands to heart. Round 2, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway, exhale, step or jump back, vinyasa. 5 breaths here. Try to really spin your biceps, your inner arms forward. Keep wrapping those triceps back. Same work we've been doing. You can almost feel your head reaching to that space between your thumbs as your hips lift up and away. So working in opposites. High to your toes, bend your knees, step or hop. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, reach to the sky, palms press. And exhale, hands to heart. Okay, 3 rounds on your own. Surrey A. If you don't know it, just make it up. So we'll meet in your 3rd down dog. I'll meet you there shortly. Or do your own pose. You can always add extra push-ups or skip the vinyasa, whatever you'd like. But take 3 to 5 breaths when you get to down dog. All right, we have 1 more round. Meet your next down dog. All right, I'm going to skip my last vinyasa. So find down dog the next few breaths, however you get there. And then simply walk your hands back towards your heels. Forward fold at the back of your mat. Let your head hang. Interlace your hands on the back of the head like a sit-up. Now, note, this is not how you will do it when you're in headstand. So as you're here and you're just sort of letting the hands and gravity take the head down, this is not how the hands will be if you do headstand later, meaning right now the palms are open to cup the head and we're pulling the head too far forward in flexion. So just notice that's not what we want, but it feels good here. Gently release. Do a little looking left and right, a little no, and a gentle yes. And then gaze up, walk back forward, down dog. Take an inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, step it to the center of the hands. Anchor the back heel down, come on up, warrior 2. I don't know what's happened with my hair today. That's all right, give you something to look at. All right, so sink into your lunge. Take a couple of breaths. And just feel strong and stable like the warrior. Sometimes we may not feel strong and stable, so we can sort of fake it till we make it. So part of the reason we do these practices is sort of it builds that confidence. We feel strong and stable even if we don't feel strong and stable. All right, lean to the front of your mat, elbow to the thigh. Take the top arm high. Bring the hands straight in front of you and turn the palm up, thumb up. And then take the hand, keeping the thumb up all the way across the body. So the closer you get, the harder it is to keep that thumb up. Wrap that tricep forward, bicep up, and then as you reach through the crown of the head, move the bottom right ribs out from underneath you. Now you're welcome to drop lower. For me, I like to stay a little higher just so I can really work that top arm and lengthening the bottom waist, but that's up to you. You might have your right hand on the ground, on the block, whatever you'd like. Couple of breaths. Sink in deeper, lengthen the bottom waist. And then to simply reach the hand up, the top arm, sweep it down, come up onto the back toes, find your way into your lunge. Now you're welcome to stay in your lunge. You can twist it or stack the feet for your side plank. Now if you're in your side plank, tip the top hip forward, lengthen the bottom waist again. And then whether you're in your lunge twist or in your side plank, Sirsasana, maybe turn the top palm over, lengthen, thumb up, lengthen the sideways. So it's all the same stuff we've been doing. If I can find it. And release. All right, take your vinyasa or go right to down dog, which I think is my plan today. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step it between the hands, anchor the back heel down. Come on up. Warrior two. All right, find your strong and steady stance here. And begin to lean forward, elbow to the thigh. Take your top arm, reach it straight in front of you. Rotate the palm to face the front of your mat, thumb is up. And then slowly take the hand forward like you want to give someone a handshake with the front of your mat. But keep spinning that bicep up, tricep down. Lengthen the bottom waist. We really want to feel this in the shoulder. Breathe. Look any direction you'd like. And then sweep the hand down, come up onto the back toes. You can stay in a lunge twist or stack the feet for side plank. Yogi's choice. All right. Plank, vinyasa, set of push-ups, or right to down dog. Your choice. All right, take a few moments here. Just breathe. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it to the center of the hands and pause. Now, if you have blocks, maybe grab them. But we're going to turn to the left. So if you have blocks, just bring them with you, facing the side while the legs are wide. Now we're going to take the hands on the floor or blocks. It's just personal preference. Pull the chest forward, find length. And then you can keep your left hand on the floor or block. Right hand reaches to the sky. And at first, just let your hips tip way over towards the right hip. And then see if you can level out the hips. And for me, it's hard to find unless I place my top hand on the hip. I look down at the ground, and then I can feel where level is in the hips. Chest pulls forward. Try to keep that hug the inner thighs in. Then rotate and think of it more about opening up the right shoulder. Pull the breastbone forward. Couple breaths. Maybe the top arm high, but not necessary. And then come back down. Right hand on the floor or block. Pull your chest forward. Just bring that left arm high. Let your hips tip as much as they want to the back of your mat. Look down, hand on the lower back, re-square the pelvis. Breastbone forward, hug those outer hips in, then slowly rotate again. Chest through, open through the side ribs. And release. Pull your chest forward, slowly fold. Come all the way in through the center. Now, some of you may feel like doing tripod headstand here. I'm actually just going to bring my blocks up. I'll let my head hang, but I'm going to work on placing my hands right next to my blocks and letting my shoulders rest on my blocks. Now I'm not going up. I could if I wanted to. For those of you that are practicing tripod, you can bring the tops of your shoulders onto your blocks. You can press into your palms and just gently lift the feet like you're going to move into tripod. I'm going to stay where I am today just to protect my neck. And again, this might be a great way to practice getting a little light on the feet. All right, bring yourself up. Take those blocks with you if you'd like. Turn towards the front of the mat and find down dog. Reach the right leg up. Let the hip open this time. Bend your knee, push the foot behind you. You can stay or flip the dog. Bring it back over. Take the left leg up halfway. Step it to the center of the hands. And then you can leave your blocks. This time just turn to the right. I'm actually going to bring myself up because I'm going to grab my strap. So we're going to interlace hands behind or grab the strap. So if you have the strap behind you, a couple of options. Right now I have my palms facing back, and I'm just going to roll over the thumbs. You can also interlace the hands. So choose whichever one is working for you. Take an inhale, lift the chest, not the head. Exhale, forward fold. And just let the head hang, especially if you just did tripod or if you did that little sort of tripod lift on the blocks. Maybe turn your head side to side. And this little traction rotation for the neck. Gently release the hands. If you have a strap, let it go. Look up halfway. Most of you will be turning left to come back to the top of your mat. Find your way into down dog. Reach the left leg to the ceiling. Open the hip, bend the knee, push your foot behind you. Watch out for props or maybe people. If you're practicing with other people, flip the dog if you'd like. All right, and flip it back over. All right, place your knees on the ground. Tailbone to the heels. Child's pose, rest. All right, take a couple of breaths here. Let's return to down dog. Walk the feet back and then bring the feet together. Big toes touch. Bend your knees, drop your seat, find chair pose. Utkatasana, take an inhale. Exhale, hands to heart, gently twist to the right, elbow over the knee. Pull the chest forward, so it's that same sort of, remember, cow tilt in the upper back. And then slowly open, just like we did in that wide leg stance, Prasarita Padottanasana, open up that right shoulder. Chest forward, shoulder open. Hug the inner thighs. Now we're going to try to keep the knees lined up. That may or may not happen for you. So think more about the breath. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. If you want, open up the arms. You can look forward, up or down. Yogi's choice. And release. Let it go. Forward fold. Bend your knees, drop your seat, chair pose again, Utkatasana. Hands to your heart, take an inhale. Exhale, twist left. And really let yourself sit low. Elbow over the knee. Lengthen the spine and pull the hands back so that they make a nice line, elbow to elbow. Chest pulls forward, lengthen, inhale. I'm hugging those inner thighs together. Then as you keep that, that's your stable part. Your moving part is your upper shoulder. Breathe. Heart through, shoulder open. You can stay or take it into a nice opening here. And release. All right, feet are hip width. Find yourself forward into down dog. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the right thumb tip. Now we're going to take the back foot, move it up and to the left just a couple of inches, then anchor down. Come on up, warrior one. Sink in. If you're here a couple of days ago, I did this with the straps and it was really nice to sort of really feel warrior one. So maybe you can feel that here, or if you didn't have the strap, or if you sort of want to have that same experience, just take your right hand on your right thigh. Try to push down that femur bone, get as deep into it as you can. And then reach up with the left hand. It's going to help you rotate that back waist forward as well. So root down, rise up, a couple of breaths. Try to sink in more into that front lunge, reach up more with the left hand. And then as you're doing this, see if you can start to lean forward and then cross elbow over the knee. Now, some of you are going to keep that back heel on the ground. Some of you are going to come up onto the back toes. It's just personal preference and balance. Cross elbow over knee. So again, you're either in that revolved warrior one, the back heel down, or the heels up like I am. Wherever you are, see if you can open the arms. And then to finish it out, turn the top palm to the front of the mat and extend it over. Release. Take a vinyasa or find your way to down dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, step it next to the left thumb tip. Take your back foot, move it a little right and up. Anchor down and rise. Warrior one, sink in. Now the back heel is rooted. Let's take the left hand, press it into the left thigh, root down. So really encourage yourself by pressing down and lifting up out of that right hand. So root down, rise up. And as you do, you're trying to move that right hip a little bit forward, reaching up more through the right hand. You go as slow as you need, lean forward, and work those steps to cross elbow over the knee. Now you can keep the back heel on the ground, or it turns up. They're just two variations of the same pose. Stay as you are, or open the arms. Maybe that top arm crosses over. Release. Take your final vinyasa or go right to down dog. Put our knees on the ground. Place the forearms on the ground. And then bring your palms together. So instead of interlacing your hands like we'll do in headstand, just bring your palms together into prayer, hooking those thumbs on top of one another, pinkies flush against the ground. I find this is a little easier when we start to interlace. The palms and wrists can get kind of wonky, so just keep the palms together for now. So from here, root down through the sides of the arms, lift up out of the shoulders, tuck the toes under, and then lift the hips into dolphin. Let the head hang, so the head is not on the ground. Really great for me and anyone else who has any neck issues. Root down through the sides of the arms. As you feel the shoulders lift up the back, the hips lift. You can take one leg up. See if you can do this without letting the hips open. Just keep rooting through the arms as that foot lifts. Lower it down. Try the other leg. Explore pointing or flexing the foot. Just see what you'd like. Lower. Knees down. Child's pose, rest. All right. Slowly roll yourself up. Move the feet out from underneath you. Take a moment on your back. We'll do a little bit of core and then we'll move into our inversion. So from your back, just take your feet straight up to the ceiling. Big toes touch. Arms reach to the ceiling, palms face the feet, hook the thumbs just to keep them together, big toes stay together. Inhale, hands back, feet forward, any amount just to a point of your control. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, move them away. Exhale, return. Okay, let's see if we can do 10. Follow your breath. If this bothers your back, you can place your hands under your lower back, or you can do any other version of sit-ups you'd like. Five more. All right, are we glad we have one more? Whew. All right, now I'm tired. All right, rock yourself up. Okay, so we're gonna move into headstand. If you have neck sensitivities, you just don't want to, you're in the first days of your cycle, do legs up the wall or legs in the air. So you can do that as an alternative. I'm going to do headstand using the wall, but we're never kicking up to the wall. So I'm gonna do it real particular. And then the last thing is that we don't wanna interlace our hands and pull that head forward in any way. We're gonna keep the hands as they are, gently press the back of the head against the pads of the fingers. The work comes from the arms and the shoulders, the chin level to the floor. So you should never feel like you're rounding. You should always feel like you're sitting real tall. So this is what we'll work with. So I'm gonna move my mat to the wall. Again, if you already have an inversion practice or you wanna do something else, go for it. Okay, so I'm gonna interlace my hands, open the palms just a little bit, tuck the bottom pinky underneath, and I'm gonna face the wall. So from here, I'm gonna graze my head against the hands, lift the shoulders, root through the hands, tuck the toes under. I'm just gonna bring myself back here. I'm gonna pull one knee in, then the other. Notice there was no jumping. I'm gonna take a little time here. I'm gonna see if I can lift my knees so that my toes just barely touch the wall. And then from there, I can lift my tailbone up and then maybe raise the legs. And I'm actually a little closer to the wall than I'd like to be. Maybe 6 inches away is good. But you should feel like most of the weight is in your arms. Only about 30% in the head, maybe even less. Now, I'm not using the wall in any way, but if you had to use the wall, use it to help you lift your hips so you can bend your knees. And slowly lower down, one leg at a time or both. Take a couple of moments to rest. Now, if you are learning tripod, that's something that's new for you, you can use these blocks just like I started to do on the other side. I'm going to use the wall, but I just want to show my fingertips are lining up, so when my head goes down, I'm trying to really get the tops of the shoulders resting on the block. So this is an option for you as well. Please make sure that your neck is happy. Don't do this if your head is in any way upset. You can work forward, or you can start to work into your tripod headstand. Sorry about the A little moon here, but let's take a down dog. Okay, let's move into our yin practice. So if you haven't already, take a child's pose, take a down dog, release your neck, whatever you need here. Very, very important. And then we're going to move into pigeon pose. If you want a blanket, go for that. I'm going to grab my phone. It has a nice little timer. I don't think I need my blocks. So slide your right leg forward. Find yourself in pigeon. If you want a blanket at all, it's really nice under the hip. And I'll set my timer for 3 minutes. If you're not interested in pigeon, you've got hamstring tears or sensitivity, you've got knee sensitivity concerns, thread the needle on your back, take any other hip opener, that's fine. I even haven't had a haircut in like 4 months. I decided to stop dyeing my hair, so we're just gonna all find out together what that looks like. All right, so see how you feel in this pose. We use the breath before. As we breathe, we sort of matched the breath and the movement. And now we're not moving, but we still want to focus on the breath. It gives us sort of a place for the mind to go. And so almost see if you can explore all parts of the body with the breath. About halfway through this pose, if you need to make changes, go for it. You may decide that you want to stretch the back ankle, the back leg rather. So if you sit up tall, you can push into the top of the back foot, just like I talked about in the beginning. As I press into the top of the back foot, it makes the leg active, lift the belly, and I can stretch that hip flexor from here. Or it may make sense to reach back for that ankle. You can hold on to it or slide into the elbow crease, and then it can be those same arms that we had in the beginning if you'd like to do this bind. If not, you can just simply stretch the thigh or stay in your pigeon. Now we're going to come out in about 5 breaths, and I'm going to change the pose. We're not simply going into the next side. So in a few breaths, I'll give you our next variation. Okay, so if you're in pigeon pose, just sit upright if you weren't already there. You're going to lean to your right hip and sweep the back leg around and on top. I'm just going to turn myself to face you, but essentially now we're in Gomukhasana, happy cow face legs. You can sit on a blanket if you're on your back. You can do this same pose, but just notice we're on the other leg. We're on the left leg on top. So we're just going to stay with the 3 minutes. And you can do what you'd like. Now we've done a lot with the arm sort of reaching forward and up. If you want to do any sort of arm movements behind, great. I'm kind of happy where I am, just letting those shoulders rest. You can sit or fold forward. And start to relax the jaw. Find the breath again. So I briefly mentioned in the beginning that we were working towards crown center, Sahasrara. And crown center is that universal identity, but it's also about knowledge and non-attachment. So specifically with knowledge, if we think we know something, we don't usually let a lot of new information in. So knowledge can be a hindrance. And so our non-attachment in our crown chakra is being open to receive new information, different point of view. We're all connected. So if we sort of can listen to somebody else, we might have our minds change. So it's a nice way to get out of sort of our bubble. I feel like, especially now, we're very in third eye, sort of introspective and moving into our homes and sort of hibernating. But we want to remember we're still part of this larger collective, whether it's just this practice right now that we're doing as the community, or it's how we fit into the larger whole of the communities around us. All right, we've got about 10 breaths left. You can really sink in, maybe close the eyes. And just send positive energy out. You're in your pose. See if you can release into it. Almost imagine that with each breath out, you are sending positive energy to those around you, whether you know them or not. And each breath in, you're sort of receiving the same. So we're collectively building each other up, supporting each other. All right, we're going to do those two poses on the other side. So we started with pigeon. We're going to move into that on the left leg or your alternative. If you need a rebound pose or something in between, go for it. We're going to stay with this 3 minutes. About 30 seconds in. Let's see if we can just find our own breath. Count your breath like you're counting sheep. Not to fall asleep, but to be a meditation. We'll be here for about a minute with that, and then I'll give you some alternatives. So we have a minute left. If you took any variations on side one, go ahead and do the same thing here. Your last 5 breaths. All right, so again, if you're in pigeon, come upright if you haven't already. Sweep back leg around and on top. So it's the right leg on top. Drop the hip. So that may mean that you lift up higher onto a blanket, or you can do this on your back. Now, everybody's hips stack differently. So don't worry so much how it looks, but more how it feels. So your knees might be very stacked. Mine are slightly staggered, but what I feel is that both sit bones are nice and rooted even. If you feel like you're sort of leaning off to one side, then try to ground yourself down the best you can. Again, if you took an arm variation, go for it. You can do that. You're almost halfway through this pose. You can really breathe into those tight spots. Can you create some space? It may require you to back off. So sometimes backing off is going deeper. About 10 breaths left. All right. So coming out of this, we're going to take our final pose before Shavasana. And if you have a strap that has a loop, grab that. You don't have to, but if you have one. And we're going to come to our back. Slide it over the right leg. Now in the loop. Slide it over the right foot in the loop. And I like to have the buckle somewhere where I can adjust it. So not all the way near me. Now you can just hold onto the strap as it is. But what I'm going to do since we did headstand is I'm going to take this loop, which I already sort of had done, and I'm going to put it on the neck. Now notice it's not on the neck where it's kind of weird. Going to choke me. But I'm going to slide it up so it's just slightly higher than the base of my hairline. And then it goes over the ears. And you can see why it's not nice to have the buckle right on your head here. But if it's at the right sort of place and you have it the right length, you can straighten out both legs, and as you gently press that top right foot away from you, you stretch the hamstrings, but you also get a nice little head hammock, which is a nice traction after your headstand. So the head hammock is completely optional. If you don't have a strap, then just do some sort of hamstring stretch with or without a prop. Especially with the neck, if you ever feel any sharp shooting, tingling pain, pins and needles, numbness in the face or lips, back out. But if you feel a dull ache or it just feels like a nice stretch, then you're usually good. All right, now if you're doing the head hammock, very gently take the strap off of your head and set your head down. And then you can hold the straps or do whatever you'd like. Move out to the right side. And I'm actually going to use a block just because I like the way that feels under my hips. I'm just tipping it onto its side like a ramp. But however you'd like, open up the right hip. And then bring it into a twist. Cross it over. If you have a wall like I do here, you're always welcome to use the wall. You can plant your foot there or just hold it, whatever works. Bring yourself to center. Strap over the left foot. Now, again, if you did the head hammock, it's nice to do the same thing on both sides, but that may or may not have been your pose. So again, it doesn't go on the neck. It slides up, so it's at the base of the skull. Have your strap tight enough that when you gently push your foot into it, it stretches your neck. But you feel a stretch in the hamstring as well. All right, lightly take the strap off your head if it was there. Straps into the left hand or however you'd like to open to the side. Stretch the inner thigh. And then let's finish by crossing it over, taking a nice twist. Bring yourself to center. Take any finishing pose you'd like. Maybe happy baby. I'm going to take a seated forward fold, and then we'll get ourselves ready for Shavasana. So take your finishing pose, whatever you'd like. And let's find our way into Shavasana. I'll use my timer one last time just so that we know how long we are in Shavasana. So I'll do 3 minutes. that work? Okay. So be comfortable. You can do legs at the wall if you'd like. Legs on a chair, couch work too. Close the eyes. Let the jaw go slack again. And just feel the effects of your practice. We've shared this collective experience. We can't necessarily see each other, not all of us. We can feel each other. We know we're here. We know we're in this together. And so we can use that collective strength. Let it all go. Enjoy your final moments of rest. Stretch and draw your attention back. Move fingers and toes. Inhale the arms overhead, maybe yawn. Bend your knees, roll to your side. With eyes closed, slowly press upright to your final seat. Draw your hands to your heart in gratitude for all the work your body has done. Lift your heart, bow your head. Namaste.